So one of my favorite all-time Father's Day gifts that I received was a package of the very best or worst all-American dad jokes. They're real beauties, guaranteed to deliver max eye rolls. Ones like, why is Florida so hard to get into? Because there's so many keys. Why are baseball games at night? Because the bats sleep during the day. But then there was this one. What do you need to make a small fortune on Wall Street? A large fortune. And while pithy, this joke speaks to the truth about the concentration of capital and says the quiet part out loud of the renewal we are trying to usher in. I firmly believe there is an awakening in America. We can see it taking shape. This sparks excitement and optimism as well as opportunity, despite the current state of our culture. More specifically, that our institutions and businesses remain committed to the vision of the progressive left. A disordered, chaotic society ruled by technocratic Marxist elite. Some old institutions may be rebuilt or refurbished, but in many cases, the old needs to be completely dismantled and the new needs to be constructed from the ground up. As we think about capital investment, borrowing a phrase from my friends at Sovereign's Capital, all investing is impact investing. Right now, the conservative ecosystem has an opportunity to lean in, leverage our expertise, fill a void of leadership, and answer the call to create a coalition of organizations, businesses, and individuals who desire to put their capital to work. The collective goal would be to invest in mission-aligned startups and organizations building a better American future, to end corporate progressive indoctrination of the workforce, to bring policy to action in structuring investment portfolios that reward good business and financial products while divesting from the bad. And lastly, to stop the imminent tyranny of a technocratic modern state and its corporate satellites stripping ordinary people of their God-given individual sovereignty. There is no values-neutral investing. All investing and capital allocation involves moral and ethical considerations, from the type of coffee you drink, to the straws you use, to where you buy your clothes. Unlike the left, when it comes to stewarding capital or wealth, the conservative movement has, traditionally speaking, shied away from robust engagement. It's not a lack of will, it's often a lack of know-how. The progressive left has benefited from huge pools of public money, from pensions to sovereign wealth funds and other taxpayer-backed sources, making this an unfair fight. Broadly speaking, we have ceded ground in three main ways. First, losing the battle against corporate cultural progressivism. Second, depending on luck when matching worthy enterprises with donors and funders. And third, lacking an initiative in developing a framework for making mission-aligned capital allocation decisions. The opportunity of the status quo is catastrophic for our convictions, values, and the institutions to accomplish our mission, which is fostering human flourishing. Private individuals, firms, and organizations engaging with corporate America is perfectly legitimate and required to push back the gargantuan wall of politicized public capital. The case for support has been building rapidly over the past years and months, witnessed by Heritage's outspoken commitment to values-aligned investing. Our approach is to first ask, what is the impact, while not conceding returns? It's a both-and approach to allocating capital as a force multiplier for cultural change, all while obtaining market rates of return. This changed our entire paradigm from avoid and screen out to embrace and lean in. Lean into those companies that align with our desire for achieving the good life. Heritage made a major pivot with its long-term investment portfolio in two main areas. First, by taking back our shareholder engagement with corporate America through liquidating mutual funds and ETFs that outsource our shareholder engagement and instead buying those public equities directly. Second, using our capital to incubate, embrace, and seed fund new ventures, companies, industries, and ideas that foster renewal. First, let's discuss shareholder engagement. Our fellow citizens have long understood their duty to civic engagement and the importance of making their voices heard. However, the same level of engagement hasn't been true of corporate America until recently. Conservative proxy actions are slowly traversing the entrenched moats that have isolated corporate America from common sense perspectives. Heritage represents millions of Americans, most of whom are investors. As savvy investors, they understand that focusing on profits returns economic value to shareholders. Greater transparency allows customers and investors to make informed decisions about where they shop and how they invest. This isn't about one specific company. It's about setting a precedent for corporate America that they should serve their customers and shareholders, not act as ideological gatekeepers. The goal is depolitization, since ESG has tilted far left. The silent majority cannot afford, economically or philosophically, to remain silent. Most like-minded organizations hold low-fee investment funds, like ETFs, and are frankly blind to the societal and cultural degradation they're supporting because the focus is on lowering costs, therefore increasing return. We are now collectively waking up to the sad reality that the people managing these investments are actively undermining traditional conservative values and negatively shaping culture. We need to band together, move assets to values-aligned platforms, and embrace strategies that don't undermine civil society, but strengthen it. There are some industries that willfully destroy human dignity, and being an investor would provide no redemptive value. Those should be screened out. However, the vast majority of companies rarely hear a conservative perspective, making transparent engagement the preferential tactic for prosperity, since our goals are aligned. Our shareholder proposals are part of a wider effort to ensure corporate accountability and protect individual rights. We are engaged with the rest of the movement on proposals of financial surveillance, anti-religious discrimination, and debanking. This isn't a one-off. Heritage owns stock in hundreds of solid American companies making quality products and essential services for our robust economy. These major companies need to catch up to where the American people are. As shareholders, we'll provide the necessary monitoring to protect the American people and hope our actions bring political neutrality. But engagement is only part of the renewal. The second step is delivering actionable solutions on a broader scale, policy to action. There is a major opportunity to engage in the direct investment space and steward capital towards firms focused on values alignment. Traditional private equity and alternative asset portfolios are stacked with generic, secular, return-seeking funds with no ability to support or avoid the companies within them. However, that is rapidly changing thanks to many folks who saw a gap in the market. Some of them are in attendance here today. There are now a multitude of new investment vehicles that are delivering capital to values-aligned startups focused on solving complex issues through innovation. While there remains more work to be done, my personal story is a testament to how private capital can be mobilized for renewal. As the co-founder and co-CEO of a fintech startup, seed-funded by Heritage to make policy change a reality through private enterprise, the investment and innovation renewal is underway. This idea began with our longstanding commitment to education reform. The policy goal was simple: break the federal student loan cartel. The initial phase focused on colleges and universities that currently resist or want to resist federal aid and control, but we realized the need is even broader. With a lot of wise counsel and creativity, we determined that there is a business opportunity to build a highly liquid marketplace, leveraging the power of tokenization and the blockchain, focused on student loans. 1 year later, Stratified is a standalone financial technology company that is revolutionizing higher education by building the first trading and servicing platform for student loan digital assets. Using the power of blockchain, Stratified's exchange allows student loan digital assets to be created, bought, sold, and serviced. This makes them tradable, accessible, and attractive to purchasers. The tokenization allows for immutable record keeping, increased liquidity, and cost efficiency in a historically sluggish financial market. This will ultimately reduce lending risk, lower borrowing costs, and place downward pressure on rising tuition. This will undoubtedly cause an increase in competition between schools to deliver higher quality education and higher repayment rates. We believe there are solutions to problems that don't involve more government intervention. The truth in my earlier Wall Street joke may not be true forever because of the rapid rise of decentralized finance, or DeFi. The digital asset revolution through blockchain technology is disrupting traditional financial structures and forcing a national conversation on monetary issues such as fiat currency and the role of financial intermediaries. Thank you to the current administration for fostering a regulatory environment that no longer impedes innovation, but unleashes it. I'll close by issuing a charge to those contemplating how to mobilize capital. Do not wait. The time is now. At last year's NatCon, Anna Stepman gave a speech titled, "How Congress Can Break the Higher Ed Cartel." In that speech, which I would encourage all of you to listen to, she lays out a myriad of problems relating to higher education, grants, and student loans. She says, quote, "The old view doesn't account for the fact that universities acquired their gatekeeping position by relying on federally backed student loan programs, grants, and an extensive policy ecosystem privileging the four-year university track above all other routes to success. It has no room for the fact that there are virtually no private lenders in the student loan market, so 93% of loans are held or issued by the Department of Education. Now, functionally, one way or another, we're all on the hook for these loans," end quote. Until now. Due to the burdensome government compliance and inherent inefficiencies, education finance is one of the industries most in need of a complete overhaul, ripping it down to the studs and rebuilding. Our mission at Stratified is to connect education and lending with technology to build a financial ecosystem that enables education freedom. And we need many more enterprising individuals and companies to step up and start rebuilding in other areas, with investors supporting them with capital. So that someday, when someone asks, what does it take to make a small fortune on Wall Street, the answer will be evident: principle with principle. Thank you.